Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Mercedes. In today's video, I have a new collection from Cracked Polish, Spooky Season Edition, to share with you all.
Show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet.
This is a new 6-piece collection called Rest in Polish. It is actually inspired by Spooky Season, of course, and it's also their 2-year anniversary. I'll have details on that in a little bit. I also have a very exciting collab to share. It is from Cracked Polish, BCB Lacquers, and then Zombie Claw. It is called the Coven. So it's a trio of polishes that will also be available for this launch. I'm gonna read the description because it's hilarious. It says, "This fall, the witches are in." It is a moody, edgy trio, and it's a tribute to their shared love for all things spooky and Halloween. Think dark magic in a bottle when it comes to these 3 polishes. They're only sold as a set altogether. I'm going to make sure I leave pricing and details, all of that down below. The Rest in Polish collection by Cracked, and then the Coven Trio with Cracked Polish, Zombie Claw, and BCB Lacquers. They're all launching September 26th. And like I mentioned, in honor of Cracked Polish's 2-year anniversary, there will be a 1-day sale on the 26th, and you'll be able to get 20% off. Everything is going to be included, including this new collection, just not the trio, the Coven Trio, but everything else is. I also have a discount code with Cracked Polish, so I'm gonna leave it right here and down below for you guys. All right, so let's get into the spooky swatches. I'm going to show off these stickers first. They're going to be available on the Cracked Polish website. We do have a new sticker called the Friendly Ghost. They're all going to be priced at $3, but how adorable is that? Holding a bottle of polish with a little pumpkin. Super cute. Love a good cute sticker. We're also going to have this super cute can opener. It's called Pop Popper, priced at $6, and it's in the exclusive like signature green color. It's so funny because I immediately saw this green and I was like, this is Cracked Polish all the way. But it's super cute. You can throw it in your purse. And then they're also bringing back the defiler. I have one of these already, so super happy to see it come back. It comes in this really sleek case, and then you have the Cracked logo embossed in there, and it has this really cool transition from like dark to light. We are starting off with Scorchy, and this one is actually a magnetic topper. I'm going to show it off built up in a few coats, and then I'm going to show it over a black swatch stick, just so you guys can see that there's a lot of capabilities with this polish. So Scorchy is described as a fiery orange magnetic topper and has a soft gold shift. So you all saw on the first coat, we did go on super sheer. Second coat, we start really building up that really warm amber sort of shade. And then on the third coat, it sort of just adds just a little more color. And then as for the magnetic shift, it is a really soft gold like strip that runs throughout. We see a little bit of orangey tones running through them as well, a little bit of green, some gray in there too. I mean, obviously you see some nail line that is visible. This is categorized as a topper, but if you want a really soft fall-like shade, or a really soft fall-like manicure for Halloween, this would be beautiful because you have that magnetic shift, so it gives you a little bit of fun and dimension, and it definitely has those like really warm ambery orangey fall Halloween tones. So pictured are 3 coats of Scorchy with a glossy top coat. And here it is over the black swatch stick. First of all, beautiful, like over a dark color, like just not magnetized, super fiery pigment just screaming at us. Immediately we see the pigment go to the center. I think that's so cool to see that. But how beautiful does this look over a darker shade? It gives us some of these speckles of the shimmer running across that dark base, and then we get most of that beautiful fiery orange magnetic pigment towards the center. So either way, this would look beautiful whether you built it up on its own just to get a different vibe, or if you wanted to pair it over a darker shade, which is stunning as well. Here we have Ghoul's Garden, and this one is described as a brown mauve base with green shimmers and rose magnetic pigment. So we have another magnetic polish, and this one is such an interesting shade because it's definitely like Halloween fall vibes, but in the like girly feminine type way. You know how people love like the pink Halloween? This one totally reminds me of that. So you see on that second coat, we start building up that really darker brownie mauve base. I did go in for a third coat just to get the most opacity for this polish, and that worked out beautifully. I'm going to say 3 coats for everybody on this one. The green shimmers, super beautiful. It gives you such a lovely contrast, as well as the rose magnetic strip running throughout. Love on the full hand swatch that we see the green, we see a little bit of teal and blue, we see some purple, so a lot of fun different colors. But you see what I mean, where it's like it sort of gives you like spooky fun vibes because of the shadows, the darker shifts, but then it still is really fun and girly because of the pink in there. So like, you know, like your pink Halloween. But this one was beautiful. Pictured are 3 coats of Ghoul's Garden with a glossy top coat. Here we have Morning Light, and this one is described as a gray jelly base with gold aurora shimmers. So another beautiful, like ethereal, like polish, ethereal vibes for sure. So on that first coat, we get a heaping amount of those gold aurora shimmers. You can just see it running all throughout the nail. The backdrop, you can already see some of that gray. On the second coat, we built up the base to be a little bit deeper, and then I did go in for a third coat. If you have longer nails, you may see a little bit of nail line with this one. You can see on my swatch finger, I have more of a prominent nail line on this finger than any of my other nails. That's just what it is. But I get pretty good coverage even on the 3 coats on like my semi-medium long nails. To me, they're semi-medium long, but if you have a really super strong prominent nail line, you may see a little bit of your nail line peeking through. But that gold aurora shimmer just makes up for it. It is super glowy. You have this really lovely like lit from within look, and it's just so pretty. Like I can definitely see myself wearing this for the like summer months, for the fall time. If you love to do nail art, I feel like this would make such a pretty like ethereal light base, and maybe like plopping on like not even pumpkins but like Thanksgiving. So like fall Thanksgiving. Yes, I can totally see that with like leaves on there, or like some sort of Thanksgiving, oh my gosh, Thanksgiving. I keep saying Halloween. Can you tell I'm excited for Halloween? Like Thanksgiving, like fall vibes with like nail art with this one. I think it would be beautiful. But on its own, it is stunning as well. Pictured are 3 coats of Morning Light with a glossy top coat. Here we have Hex Mix, and this one is described as a purple jelly that's packed with holographic and lilac glitters. This one is definitely the fun party polish of the bunch. It is definitely very squishy, very bouncy, so I agree with the description that it is a jelly polish. On the second coat, we start seeing more of the beautiful purple base. I did go in for 3 coats, so I'm going to say 3 coats for this one for everybody, to really get the most of your polish and really get the most opaque look. But it is super jam-packed with all of those beautiful holographic glitters. The lilac glitters just add a lot more dimension to this polish because we're working with similar tones with the base color. Now, if you wanted to pair this with a similar sort of base color, you certainly can do that. And what that's going to do is just really amplify your base color even more. The hollow glitters and the lilac glitters, I think they're going to be just as pretty if you use a similar base color coat with this. But I feel like this on its own is just as beautiful. It gives you a fun like party on the nails, and you have so many different rainbows and colors just sparkling on through. Pictured are 2 coats of Hex Mix, 3 coats of Hex Mix with a glossy top coat. And here we have the very special Heir Apparent. This one's described as a rich red shimmering base with teal to purple magnetic pigments. So this is like the polish pickup jewel of the ball part 2. That polish specifically, Jewel of the Ball, it was Cracked Polish's best-selling PPU polish back in January, I believe. So this was created in honor of that polish, and they're very, very similar. I'm going to try and find a swatch because my swatches are all over the place, like my photos, but I'm going to try and find one so I can put up on the screen for you guys. It is really, they are similar, but they're different enough. I feel like this one is just like an almost reverted sort of look from Jewel of the Ball, but they're still very similar. This one just gives me the more like Halloween vampire vibes, but I can totally see the inspiration from Jewel of the Ball and with this polish. I did end up doing 3 coats. You guys saw that. So I'm going to recommend 3 coats with this polish for everybody. I absolutely love that like purpley reddish base that we get. And then just all the beautiful colors that are running throughout. The green, the blue, the purple. It is beautiful for the fall, Halloween, and even like the winter months. If you want, if you love your vampy colors during the winter, but you need a little color back in your life, then this is definitely the polish for you. But pictured are 3 coats of Heir Apparent with a glossy top coat. Next up, we have Wicked Root, and this one is described as a deep forest green metallic. So think Halloween and also think Christmas vibes. So the first coat, we see some of that green pigment, but we also see a lot of deep darkness in there too, which I really like. It's almost like this navy sort of effect. On the second coat, I get amazing coverage, full opacity, and the base coat deepens up even more. It is a true, beautiful, deep forest green. I feel like I get hints of navy with the shifts, and it could just be the shadows, the beautiful depths of the polish, just all coming together. Now, of course, this is going to make the perfect Halloween manicure and Christmas time too, because it's that perfect shade of deep emerald forest green that just goes along beautifully for the holidays. Pictured are 2 coats of Wicked Root with a glossy top coat. Here we have a Skelly Bones. This one's described as a white with pink and purple shimmers. So another beautiful unicorn, ethereal, fairy-like polish. I did not show this one over a topper, though I think it would look beautiful over a lighter color or even a darker color, because I really just wanted to build it up on its own so you can see how beautiful it really looks in 3 coats. I'm going to say 3 coats for everybody. Unless you want a super light fairy look, 2 coats is going to work for you, but 3 coats on everybody. You're going to get this really beautiful, like almost like opal pearlescent like vibe across the nail, but then you see a lot of that beautiful pink shift. We see a tiny bit of green in there, a little bit of purple, some yellow gold tones. It's just such a beautiful, really glowy, fairy ethereal like polish that I feel like we can wear at any time during the year, and I think this would look amazing as a winter pedicure. I'm gonna call that. I mean, even spring too, but I think winter, just because of like that really icy look that you get from this polish. Icy in a very soft way. Pictured are 3 coats of Skelly Bones with a glossy top coat. Here is the jelly of the month. This one is called Simply Marvelous Darling. I had to say it that way. It's described as a rose mauve polish. So just a really fresh, clean polish on the nail. I love the jellies from Cracked Polish. I know they're just jelly polishes, but I don't know, there's just something about the pigment and the tones. I think it's like the undertones of the jelly polishes that always just look so flattering. I built this one up in 3 coats because I really wanted to get that really rosy, nude, brownie look on the nail. This is beautiful, but you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just this really fresh look on the nails, very sophisticated looking. It's so refreshing, and the amount of gloss that you get, even if you're not using a glossy top coat, which I know you all will, it's just so juicy. I love them. Love the jellies, and I love this one. Pictured are 3 coats of a Simply Marvelous Darling with a glossy top coat. Now we are moving on to the Coven Trio. This is with Cracked Polish, of course, BCB Lacquers, and Zombie Claw. Now they're going to be sold only as a trio, and I didn't mention this in my intro, but it is capped at 150, so just keep that in mind. First one is Cracked Polish's contribution. This is called Summon Thee. It is a cool toned brown acrylic that's packed with large orange red aurora shimmers. I feel like this is classic Cracked Polish formulation. We go on sheer, but then we are buildable and just get such a beautiful finish. Oh my goodness, the red aurora shimmers, beautiful. The contrast in this is stunning. I love how we get this really light caramel base that has a lot of like deeper, darker shadows along the nail. And then just the Aurora shimmer that is in this. I love how it's like larger Aurora shimmers because it really gives you that beautiful sparkle and twinkle. I think honestly, I'm a really big fan of red Aurora shimmer. It's just anytime I see a polish that has it, it just steals my heart. But this is really a beautiful polish. Pictured are 3 coats of cracked polish Summon Thee with a glossy top coat. BCB lacquers. This is Nightshade. This one's described as a deep purple base with a blue-purple multi-chrome magnetic pull, and it has red, orange, gold, green shifting shimmer. Now, just polishing the first coat without my magnet, but don't worry, I knew this was magnetic, so I'm going to show it with the second coat. Beautiful formulation, opaque in 2 coats, very impressive for it being a magnetic polish. As you know, if you wear magnetic polishes, the pigment gets pulled towards the center, and sometimes we need that third coat to sort of round it off and give us the full coverage that a lot of us are sometimes looking for. But 2 coats, I was able to reach full opacity. On my ring finger, I have it in its velvet form, but I love this in the cat eye version. That deep purple base is giving us like burgundy maroon vibes, again with like the red shifting shimmer. Red, and this one doesn't have the Aurora shimmer, but it has that red shimmer, and there's just something about red shimmer that it just looks so beautiful. Like it really makes a polish so special, and I think it contrasts well off of a lot of different colors. We get a beautiful stark magnetic strip right across the nail. This is definitely like Halloween all the way. Pictured are 2 coats of BCB lacquers and Nightshade with a glossy top coat. And here we have Zombie Claw. This one is called Bloodthirst. It's described as a burgundy jelly base with black, pink, gold, copper flakies, and silver reflective glitters. I really love how this trio screams Halloween. Like each of the polishes scream Halloween in their own way. They're just so different from each other, but they all just work lovely as a trio for this specific theme. Now for this polish, I did go in for 3 coats because I really wanted to deepen up that burgundy base, and it was beautiful. The flakies in here, magnificent. They are super glowy. I love the orange vibes that we're getting from it because it reminds me of fall and the leaves. So you see a little bit of yellow, a touch of green in there with the flakies as well. And then black flakies in a polish just give you all the edge that you need. That touch of silver reflective glitter as well just adds a lot more, like it adds a lot more sparkle in here. Like the flakies bounce off so much light and we get that reflective vibe, like mirror-like vibe, and then we get the really pretty reflective glitter to add like the daintiness into the polish. It's not dainty in any shape, way, or form, but you know what I mean? Like you add like a touch of reflective glitter and it just makes everything better. It gives you that really pretty twinkle and sparkle, and I loved it. Pictured are 3 coats of Zombie Claw, Bloodthirst with a glossy top coat. All right, everybody, I have 4 favorites. I have them right here. I know it's a 6-piece collection and I have 4 favorites. First of all, the trio, it's beautiful. I love it. This gives you guys the opportunity, if you haven't tried BCB lacquers or Zombie Claw or cracked polish, now you have 3 all in one and you can try. I'm going to vouch for these brands because they have amazing formulas. But my favorites from the Rest and Polish collection is 4 of them. So Ghoul's Garden is the first one, and it's magnetic. There's another one that's magnetic, which I'm going to just totally give that away. But I thought this was such a fun spin on like spooky season, especially because we're so used to seeing like darker vampire colors, like your typical oranges and greens. And this one was just a much more like sweet spin on Halloween, especially with the magnetic effects. You have this beautiful like violet blue glow magnetic strip that runs across, especially because you have this really pretty like bluish teal green shimmer, like that magnetic strip that runs across, and I think it's just so pretty. Then we have Scorchy, love the name, but just the color, like look at this, it's so beautiful. I have my magnet here. It just like, look at just how it transforms. Like you have this really fiery shade and then you just like magnetize it and it instantly turns to like this really eerie, spooky vibe. I love that. Then Wicked Roots, beautiful like emerald forest green. It's very deep, but you can definitely still see the glow from within from this like emerald shade. It is stunning. This is just like not only for spooky season, but I can see this for like Christmas time for sure. And then just generally like in the winter, because it's such a deep royal, like, what do you call those? Jewel toned shades. And then the last one, this one is called Morning Light. Again, not your typical like spooky color that you see, which I love because I have my spooky shades and then I have my shades that if I want a little spin on my like Halloween manis, these ones right here. So it gives you the prugliness that you want, right? Especially if you love those prugly shades, but it's still very ethereal, very light, very pretty. And that's what I love about this one. It has like your like slightly dusty vibe, but it's still very glowy. It's just very different. I really, really enjoyed this one. All right, everybody, that is all that I have for you today. Let me know if you plan on picking up any of these polishes, if you're excited for spooky season, for Halloween, for October, for the fall, because I am. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.